This first video focuses on the basics of Microsoft Excel, and we're going to use it to show you how to create a mark calculator for your course. You can then use this for other courses if you wish. Basic data inputs in Excel work just like a word processor. Select the cell and then type. You can adjust the position, background color, the text color, the font size, as well as the font in any way that you want. I'm going to return it back to normal, and I'll fill in the rest of the cells right now. Now that our text is filled in, I'll show you one handy little shortcut. If you move your mouse to between the two columns, B and C, so that you get this symbol, which is the line with the two arrows, and double click, it will automatically adjust that column to be as big as the largest text. There are three ways to click on a cell in Excel. You can click with the white arrow, which is a selection tool. And when you select that, you can change all of the cell's contents at the same time. Alternatively, you can click on the border of the cell, and this works the same as cutting and pasting that cell. You can use it on one cell or multiple cells. If you click on the lower corner and drag that cell, you'll see that it repeats whatever is in that cell or repeats whatever pattern is in that Excel. For instance, if we start adding our assignments, we have our writing assignment, we have lab 1. If I click on this corner and drag it across, we can see that we can get the labs to automatically increase in numeric value. Same thing for test, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our final exam. Entering numbers is exactly the same way as entering text. We know that the writing assignment is worth 2%. The labs in total are worth 50%. I'll change the actual numbers later. The tests are worth 8% each. And the final exam is worth 24%. When you get your assignment, you'll be able to fill in this next row with what the test or assignment is marked out of. We know that the writing assignment is marked out of 20, and we'll assume that the labs are all marked out of 50, and that the tests are all marked out of 45, and that the final exam is marked out of 100. Since the writing assignment is designed to let you get perfect, we'll assume that that's what happened and that you got 20 on your assignment. So as a percentage, you would have gotten, and you have to type equals, your mark divided by what it's marked out of, multiplied by 100. You'll see that division in Microsoft Excel is the backslash and multiplication is the asterisk. Now fill this in, and you can see that you got 100% on that assignment. We can now copy this formula across, and we'll see that currently, because you haven't filled in any of these marks, you've gotten 0% on each of these assignments. I'm going to go ahead and fill in some fictitious values for you so that we can see what this looks like. Now that these values are filled in, you can see that Excel auto-formats some of the cells based on how many decimal places it thinks you want to display. Showing your percentage down to the 5th or 6th decimal place is a bit silly. Instead, we can select these and change how many decimal places are shown automatically by using, in order to calculate what your mark on the actual assignment or lab or test is worth towards your final mark in the class, we need to take your percentage and find out what you earned or what it's worth. So if you got 100% of something that's worth 2 marks, then you can probably figure out that you got the full 2%. So we're going to take this column, convert it back to a decimal, so dividing by 100, and we're going to multiply by what it's worth, back up to 2%. We drag this across, and we can see that we earned 7 of the 10 possible marks that Lab 1 was worth, because we got 35 out of 50. 35 divided by 50 is 70%. 7 divided by 10 is 70%. and this is repeated across. Again, changing the decimal places to make something that makes a little bit more sense. So in order to calculate our final mark in the test, we're just going to change the formatting a little bit, make it a little bit easier by double-clicking here, and that will work across all columns. Notice it doesn't work if you just highlight the text. It only works if you highlight the columns. The final mark is the sum of all of these values. So your final mark in the class would be 80. We use the sum command. Alternatively, we could have said this plus this plus this, etc., so that we have all of our cells calculated and hit enter and get the same mark. But if you remember from reading your course outline, only the top 3 tests work. And so using the manual way, you would say subtract using the minus sign, and you would look for the test that had the lowest mark, so 55%. And you would highlight that and hit enter, showing you a grade of 76.5. Alternatively, we can use, within the sum command, we can subtract the minimum value from the 3 tests by just highlighting the 3 tests, so the 4 green cells, and it will automatically figure out the minimum value of those and subtract it from the sum of everything. Again, giving us exactly the same mark of 76.5. Thing that I want to show you, which isn't part of the mark assignment, but is the use of dollar signs in Microsoft Excel when you're calculating or dragging equations across. We're going to create a multiplication table, a very simple one, up to 5. And we know that multiplication is the asterisk, so that 1 times 1 is 1. So we use the asterisk, so E13 multiplied by F12 is equal to 1. And in order to create a multiplication table, we'd want to drag that across and drag that down. But we can see that 5 times 5 is equal to 25, not 6 times 10 to the 42. So what happened is that this cell now is taking I17 and multiplying it by J16. You'll notice that the reference is very similar, the cell immediately to the left and the cell immediately to the top. This will be the same everywhere, immediately to the left, immediately to the top. What we need to do is lock a row or a column in place. We do this by using the dollar sign. We want the green row to always be active, and so we're going to put a dollar sign in front of the 12 because it's the 12th row. For the column, we always want column E to be active, and so we're going to put a dollar sign in front of the E. When I repeat what I just did, we see that our multiplication table works out correctly, because now that we've locked column E and row 12. Final thing that I will show you is how to calculate an average and a standard deviation for a column of data or a row of data. Active cursor wherever you want to have the value, type equals, average, bracket, and then highlight the data that you want to calculate the average for, close the brackets, and hit enter. We can see that the average of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is equal to 3. Standard deviation, StanDev, we can discuss the differences between population and sample standard deviations later. I'll open the brackets, highlight the values, close the brackets, press enter, and the standard deviation of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is 1.58.